Hey Molly, let's chat. I know a
Hi.
lot of people have questions about should or shouldn't I get a personal trainer to work on my fitness goals? And since I'm a coach, I'm a big fan of people having an expert to guide them, right? First off, so I'm Heather, I'm Coach Heather, and Molly Holt is a fitness trainer in the Huntington area. She's amazing. And I'm going to have her share a little bit about herself, but then also just some general guidance for you. If you're not in our area and you're considering a trainer, just some of the reasons you might want to consider it for yourself. So Molly, tell me why you became a trainer. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I actually had a really roundabout way of getting here, including uh, going to seminary for my master's degree, and then somehow ended up here. But I think at the root of why I wanted to become a trainer is that I see that all people have just innate value that they were born with, and they have something really important to contribute to the world that only they can contribute. Um, and our health shouldn't be a barrier to that. And so, with that in mind, that's kind of how, for me at least, that overlapped of wanting to do ministry in a way, but also wanting to just kind of take away some barriers for people to be healthy and to be strong and to be able to, chase their kids or bring their groceries in or love their community better. And so yeah, that was kind of at the root of it, as I saw a need that this was kind of continuously something I was seeing where, people not being in shape enough or healthy enough or strong enough to do the things that they wanted or even felt called to do with their life. So how can I help people do that and ultimately, contribute to the community because the community needs you.
Yeah. Dang, nice. Okay, so that was like four other questions I was going to ask you. I love that so much. I think I really am a believer too that if a person has a gift that's limited by their health, it's a shame. Not shame on them, but just, shame on those of us who can help us if we're not trying, right? We've got to be able to help people feel their best, have the longevity, have the quality of life so that they can get back and do what they're great at on this earth. So
Yeah.
I love, we definitely have a common bond in that, I know. Okay, so thank you for your just honesty and just putting your heart in that answer. So a couple of simple questions too. What do you think is one reason that holds people back from coming to the gym and hiring a trainer? Like, what are people afraid of? What holds someone back?
This is one of those questions I would love to have been able to jump online with you and hear from more people as well. But the things that I see most consistently are prioritizing their health and their fitness, and then fear. So I've been a believer for a long time that you can tell so much about what someone values and prioritizes by how they're using their resources. So their time, their energy, their money. So if someone's looking at your calendar or your bank account or what your day looks like, are they seeing someone who's prioritizing movement and healthy eating and exercise and time outside? Are they seeing, spending money on things that don't point to that? Spending time, mindlessly watch. There's things that we all do, of course, to relax, but I think big picture, what are we making a priority? And we all have those resources. We all have the same resources. So how are we to an extent, in those categories. So how are we using each of those to contribute to our health, or are we not? So that's kind of the prioritization part of it, and then I think fear also plays a big role for a lot of people or a lot of the clients that I've met with. And that comes down to a lot of things, both not having the confidence to know how to use the equipment or not wanting to look silly when they come in the gym or not being able to lift as much weight as somebody else or do as much or whatever that is for you. There's always these fears that we have coming into a new space, especially doing something that involves fitness. So um, I I'm I think we're going to talk about this in a minute, but those are things that really, especially with a trainer, should be able to meet you there right where you're at, both with your priorities and with your confidence level when you come into the gym. So just to give a quick insert there that those shouldn't be reasons, but they are reasons, valid reasons for a lot of people.
Right. Well, fear can immobilize us, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, I don't even see my most of my clients in person. I mean, we're on the phone and I'll have people say, I was scared to talk to you today because I felt like, I don't know, I wasn't confident in my choices, or I don't know if I, made enough progress this week or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, like that's when you need to lean on someone for guidance and support and encouragement when you don't totally believe in yourself
Yeah,
and what you're doing and what level you're currently at. So yeah, I can see that. Fear, I can see as being a huge obstacle. It's not something I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah. Okay, so another one. What's your favorite exercise? If you could bring someone to the gym and you only had time for one exercise, what would you
this was a hard one.
do? Yeah, I feel you.
But strangely enough, when I was thinking about this, I was like, honestly, I think I would choose a deadlift variation pretty quickly without having to give it too much thought. So for anybody that's not currently exercising or is unfamiliar with movement or being at the gym, um, there's a way that your body moves that's a hip hinge, so it's kind of like becoming parallel to the ground with your chest. So your hips come back, your chest comes forward. And that is one of the most important movements that I think most of us can have just for everyday life because we're always going to be picking something up. We're always going to be bending over, reaching for something, or sitting down or standing up. And so when I'm doing like a full deadlift, for example, I can feel almost every single muscle in my body doing something to maintain that movement. So, yeah, I think that's why I choose that because it incorporates everything. It really does feel like a full body movement, and I see its relevancy in our daily life so frequently that it's definitely something I'm going to have every client do in some variation, even if whether they're a beginner, they're advanced, or somewhere in between, we'll find a variation that works to be able to incorporate that movement for sure.
That's great. And that aligns so perfectly with what you just told me, your training philosophy. You want to make people better at life, right? And that's an exercise that makes us perform better just at life, everyday living. Just really
Right.
useful, practical. That's perfect. Oh gosh. Okay, what is a typical workout for you?
That's
What's your
a
favorite workout for yourself?
great question right now. I was just
Trainers need to be healthy, right?
yes.
We all
Um,
contend.
it's funny because I've been jumping in with another trainer that I work with recently, just because my own motivation has been lacking.
Mm.
That does come for everyone. There have been multiple seasons in my time as a trainer that I've needed to work with someone else just because I knew I wasn't doing what I needed to do or what I could do on my own. And so, anyway, but in this season of life, I really focus on functional movements. So, like I mentioned with the deadlift, I want to do things that are helpful for my everyday life, helpful to make what I do outside of the gym easier and better. And so I'll try to do some movements that I see every day. I want to do usually I break it down into push movements and pull movements. So a push movement might be a chest press or a push up. For a lower body, that could be a squat or a step up. And then for a pull movement, that's anything where you're pulling. So rows are going to be your big ones on pull day, and then deadlift or some variation where you're using the back of your body to pull weight. So I try to get one or more of each of those. There are days that I'm going to be doing well to get one or two exercises in my workout. And then there are other days that I can do, six or eight or more, depending on what's going on. So trying to get push and pull, and then I always try to do something that's going to make my core work, which I'm a believer that you should be using your core in every movement, but try to do something that's core focused and then something that's aerobic. So something that will get my heart rate up. And some days that's what I'm doing is I might do like a 20 or 30 minute aerobic workout. But I try to keep strength training at least 3 to 4 days a week, just because that's so important for longevity. There are definitely days I'm just walking my dog, and that's my movement for the day too, or chasing the 3-year-old at our house, or whatever that looks like. But when I'm at the gym, that's kind of what I'm trying to get in.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to highlight a couple of things you just said. Something is better than nothing. Preach that all the time. Just do something, even if it's a busy day, a hectic day, a stressful day, and then balance, different modes of exercise, your cardio, your strength, sometimes just being outdoors and walking, and yeah, just consistency. And
Mm-hmm.
balancing your muscle groups. Don't always just hit the lower body or always the upper body. Your whole body needs to be strong together. So great philosophy. Well, that's good. I like your workouts. I like your grace that you give yourself too, because we all need that no matter what. No trainer, no health coach is, eating and moving perfectly all the time, getting 9 hours of sleep, doing all the things perfectly. No, that's a real common misconception. Like we are all contending. Okay, so oh my gosh. I guess last question. How does it feel to really help people? And in your profession, um, what do you get? Besides a paycheck, obviously, like what do you really love about your, this is kind of like your final thought. What do you love about helping people?
Yeah. Um, I love a lot of things about it. I mean, there are so many components of my job that make me go home and feel like it was worth it. Like I don't feel like I'm doing a job where I'm working really hard and not seeing any fruit. So I'm thankful for that for a lot of reasons. But some of my clients are older, and so we're just working on mobility and balance and being able to stay in their home and not end up at assisted living. I have a client right now that is his goal, is just to keep from going to assisted living by the end of the year. And so that's been really cool to just see, man, he's going to get to stay at home with his wife longer because we're working on balance, and we're working on just having the muscle and the coordination to do daily tasks. I have other clients that are working on strength and getting stronger. And for them, I have a lot of moms that just want to be able to keep up with their kids and be able to do things in their home and in their yards without injury and without exhaustion. And for them, that is so, I mean, it's so worth it for me to be able to see them living life fully with their kids, going on trips, um, just being available, being able to say yes when there's an invitation, or when the kids ask, or when their kid, wants to be picked up and carried. And um, yeah, and for others that might be weight loss. Whatever your goal is, it's just really neat to be able to see clients come in wanting something that they don't have, and then working towards that goal with them. Whatever level they're coming in at, that's something that is always a priority for me. It's just to meet people where they are. um, so if it's that they haven't been to the gym ever before, I want them to feel so confident by the time we're done, just to be able to use the equipment and to move their body in a safe way, and maybe even be able to help somebody else, outside of our time. Personal training is not forever. Some clients I have for a couple months, and some for years. Some I have to move to get away from them. But each has goals, and it is really rewarding just to see them meet those goals, be able to have a fuller, um, more fulfilled life, and to be able to contribute to the world because their body isn't standing in the way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Molly. You're awesome. And I think that this is probably inspiring someone to rethink, hopefully, to work with a trainer and maybe to call you, but at least to rethink their attitude towards their ability to exercise or their time, availability or their willingness to commit their finances. I hope that someone will just be more open because they saw this. And gosh, I mean, you're not just affecting that person, but you're affecting their children, their grandchildren, their neighbors who are watching. I mean, there's such a ripple effect when one person gets healthy. So keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me and thank you for what you do because it is just as equally important.
Awesome. Thanks, Molly.